SA Fashion Week is a very important platform to our local designers. Not only does it provide a dedicated new talent category where designers can, compete for the ultimate prize, but it also allows very new young designers to show alongside your more established fashion houses. So you have this amazing ecology of designers that feed off each other, which is really important to any industry.
I try to find a balance that could still be wearable, but still be interesting to look at. The human face is not perfectly symmetrical, so I played around with asymmetry, and also wanted to play around with juxtaposing elements together to create something harmonious and balanced.
With actually won this year's New Talent Search, an incredible young designer who's inspired by the modern aesthetic that we see in Copenhagen. Complex designs, playing with proportions, obviously a very solid sense of pattern making, because it's not always easy to pull off something that looks a little bit more avant-garde.
I'm always trying to sort of push the boundaries a little bit with silhouette. I never think of a garment in terms of the front and the back. I'm very, very much interested into what the side actually looks like and how you can eliminate the side and create a front and back garment that's all in one. A lot of my garments were actually one pattern piece or one piece of fabric that was sewn together in a way that created the garment.
Somerset Jane is a designer who's been around for a few years. Her style is a bit more commercial, which means that she appeals to many women. She has a great sense of fashion now, so you see amazing basics from her that have that fashion twist for the season. Her collection for autumn-winter really pulled together those cool essentials that the girl wants and styled them in a kind of haphazard way that we've come to associate with street style.
I don't like winter, so I designed for a girl who was sort of feeling demotivated, uninspired, and didn't know what to wear. So the pieces were great pieces. Luckily, this girl was a fashionista, but she was a bit careless in the way she put them together. And I like that idea that they're a bit odd. They may not necessarily have matched, but if you saw her in the street, you might look at her twice and think, did that happen by mistake or, on purpose?
I think young designers now are very inspired by street style and also heavily influenced by the global fashion culture which we find in Instagram. So it's not just about their range in isolation. They see those pieces as pieces that people can wear into their own look, incorporated these amazing garments that stand out on their own accord. Greer Kyle, also an amazing collection that was just so well styled, it just felt so real.
The collection was a collection that was inspired by water. I was inspired with how water transforms from gas to liquid to a solid. I brought that into the theme, which was individualism, and allowing the consumer to be the final designer of how they wear the garment, because most of the garments in my collection, there's about 3 or 4 different ways of actually wearing it.
One of the young designers that for me really stood out in terms of styling with the most cohesive collection that I've seen in many seasons was Wake. He had 2 very, very bold prints, one designed by an illustrative artist that he then pulled through into the motifs as well.
I sourced the houndstooth, the 2 different sizes. The grey and white houndstooth was this beautiful backdrop for the prints. I wanted to stay away from black and white this time and just progress the work into something more different, more soft.
We had oversized shapes, we had very clever styling of the garments, we had beautiful oversized clutches, there were minimal factors, there were very exuberant oversized factors, the balance of which made it a very well styled collection.
My heart's in Africa, and I think that's where everything starts for me is what do I like, what do I feel is relevant now, what do I want to show, because I don't want everyone's works to look the same. And Africa is such a great source of inspiration, it just never stops entertaining me, so it will always just inspire my work.
And ultimately, that's what we need from our young designers. They need to be proud of where they come from, they need to make a statement, they need to be technically on point, and they need to get us noticed.